It began with what seemed like an innocent photograph, just a candid snapshot of #O royals sharing a warm exchange. But within hours of its surfacing online, the image of Meghan Markle and Prince William smiling together, leaning in close during what appeared to be a private conversation, had ignited a wildfire of speculation, accusations, and outright panic within the gilded halls of Buckingham Palace. To the casual observer, the photograph was almost wholesome. William, usually reserved and formal in public settings, appeared unusually relaxed, even laughing with his head slightly tilted toward Meghan. She, in turn, her hand lightly resting on his arm, her expression open and warm. But to those who know the bitter undercurrents of royal relationships, this was no ordinary moment, it was political dynamite. Sources close to the palace have confirmed that the image was taken during a recent charity gala, one of the rare occasions in which both the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were present alongside the senior royals since their dramatic exit from official duties. The event was intended as a carefully staged show of unity for the cameras, with strict guidelines about how much interaction would occur between the estranged brothers and their wives. By all accounts, Meghan and William were to have minimal contact, polite nods, perhaps a handshake at most. But as the night unfolded, the strict choreography appeared to unravel. Witnesses claim they saw Meghan approach William unaccompanied during a lull in the evening, the two of them slipping into an easy conversation that lasted far longer than any aide would have approved. It wasn't just small talk, one insider told the press. It looked personal. They were engaged, leaning in, exchanging real smiles, not the forced ones you see in #official portraits. When the photo went viral, social media exploded. Some royal watchers saw it as a hopeful sign, a possible thawing of tensions between the Sussexes and the Cambridges. Others, however, viewed it as something far more dangerous, a shift in alliances. If William is warming to Meghan, one commentator noted, it undermines the entire narrative the palace has worked to maintain for years. Behind palace walls, the reaction was reportedly swift and severe. Senior courtiers were said to be deeply concerned that the #E painted William as sympathetic toward Meghan, which could complicate the family's unified front against the Sussexes' ongoing public criticisms. According to an aide, Queen Camilla was visibly displeased when shown the photograph and immediately questioned why no one had intervened to prevent such a moment from being captured. More troubling still were whispers about what was actually said during that brief exchange. Multiple sources claim Meghan was overheard making a light-hearted remark about the old days, referencing private family gatherings before the fallout. William allegedly responded with, "We used to laugh more back then." That line alone has become a subject of fevered speculation, with some interpreting it as a quiet acknowledgement of the fractured state of the royal family. Tabloids, sensing blood in the water, have already begun spinning theories. Some suggest that Meghan may be trying to rebuild a relationship with William as a way to strengthen her position against other members of the family, particularly Camilla. Others believe the warmth between them is #nwin, a result of shared frustrations with the rigid palace machinery. Still others, more conspiratorial, have floated the idea of a calculated photo op designed to unsettle King Charles himself. Netflix, ever eager for a dramatic storyline, is reportedly pushing to include the gala footage in an upcoming Sussex-related documentary, much to the palace's horror. Leaked internal memos from the streaming giant suggest believe the William-Meghan connection could become a major draw for international audiences, painting the moment as a sign of cracks in the monarchy's foundation. Meanwhile, Harry has found himself in an unexpectedly awkward position. Friends say he has been supportive of Meghan's friendly interaction with his brother, but there are quiet concerns about whether too much closeness between the two could complicate his own strained dynamic with William. Harry has spent years building a narrative about how isolated and mistreated Meghan was, one insider commented. If William suddenly becomes the hashtag one royal who's warm toward her, it's hangs that story. In Montecito, Meghan has reportedly brushed off the palace's outrage, privately telling friends she's simply being herself, and that kindness show hashtag old never be seen as a political act. Yet those close to her acknowledge she's aware of the effect the moment has had, and perhaps isn't entirely unhappy about it. She knows exactly what she's doing, one former aide remarked. Meghan understands the power of a single photograph better than anyone. For the palace, however, the damage is already done. In a family where every gesture is analyzed, where every glance can be interpreted as a statement, the image of Meghan and William laughing together has become a symbol, one that suggests that the rigid lines drawn after Megxit may not be as permanent as the monarchy would like the public to believe. And as the photo continues to circulate, racking up millions of views and sparking heated debates, one truth has become clear. Sometimes the most dangerous scandals aren't the loud, explosive accusations. They're the